had an Arctic weather system for the last little while, last few days, and it was meant to be gone today, but this is biblical and dangerous. I've got to get out of here. This is the closest I've ever seen it snowing down this level. We're about 397 meters above sea level, so not that high. It is actually legitimately snowing out there. Looking at that. For so many of my subscribers, they're like, it's snow, who cares? We see that like 8 months of the year. I'm Australian, I'm used to like 45-degree temperatures. Snow is rare. What do you reckon of the snow, Grizzly? Alright, I've legitimately called every single person I know, and they're all extremely excited about the snow, and now it seems to be over, so let's get back to work. What's up guys, Chris here from Vo-Gus Prospecting. If you're new to the channel, a big warm welcome. If you're an old moldy beanie like this one, welcome back. Today we're out on the creek not to do some gold panning or sluicing, but to look for gold bearing ore that we can crush up in our Kalgoorlie special. And we're going to see if we can't find the load bearing reef that I suspect is in the area. Not too long ago I made several videos on this inside bend behind me, and I pulled out 13.5 grams personally of alluvial gold from there. Several friends also joined me on the creek for a couple of different sluicing sessions, and they pulled out multiple grams themselves, including several beautiful reef specimens, including the best one that Michael got in his sluice. And isn't this absolutely gorgeous? Now, with the total number of specimens, the fact that it doesn't look like they've traveled overly far, I do believe that there is a reef shedding in this area. Now, it may not be the best reef in the world, but I still want to see if I can't find the type of ore that it's shedding off. All the specimens that we've found so far have either been on quartz or on ironstone. So we're looking for rocks that contain those two sort of things. Now, I am by far no expert on minerals. That's why I've got Steve. But Steve isn't here with me today, so I'm not going to give you all the names and all the technical stuff. I'm just going to give you some rough names, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking for that has been identified to me by Steve, and also what I've watched online from people like 911 Prospecting. What I'm looking for is mineralization and combinations of rock. So this is one of those sort of things. We can see that we've probably got some magnetite in there, that blacker stuff. And we've obviously got quartz running across the top here, and it's in the host bedrock. Now I know this is the host bedrock from experience, and it breaks apart very, very easily. So the conjunction of all these minerals means that something quite violent happened to the earth from wherever this came from, and that sort of violent action, like an earthquake or volcano, is what brings gold and minerals to the surface from deep in the earth's core. These come in all different shapes and forms. It's not just this sort of stuff that you're looking for. Like this also indicates that there has been some serious geological disturbance, because all these little pockets are from where sulfides have burnt out and crystals have formed, and gold forms along with them. This is the sort of quartz we've been finding the gold in, so stuff like this is worth a crush. This is a similar sort of piece to the last piece I showed you. It's what we call mouse bitten. So it's got mineralization, it's quite heavy, it weighs a lot more than what you would think for this size piece of quartz, and all those little pock marks are again where crystals and sulfides and gold have formed. So heavy means minerals, pot marks means minerals that are associated with gold have burned out, and this is what we're looking for. So we're going to find several different specimens like this. Given that our specimen gold has actually come off white quartz, I'm more inclined to start looking for stuff like this. It's got heavy mineralization in it, but still has that buck white color. That's just for this area. Traditionally speaking, this is more the sort of color quartz that I would be hunting for. It's got sort of a green discoloration. Now, from what Steve's told me, a green discoloration that when you scratch it smells like bitter almonds has arsenic in it. And arsenic, along with pyrite and other minerals, is almost a surefire way to find gold. So to do that, you would scratch this rock, scratch the green bit. If it smells like, don't lick it, Don't lick it. If it smells like almonds, it's probably got arsenic in it, and if it's got pyrite and a few other things like that, then the chances for gold are quite good. So we'll take a piece of this and we'll definitely crush this up. This is another interesting rock. We can see some quartz just at the very, very top of that rock there, and it's in the bedrock, but it's also got a lot of magnetite through it and what looks like pyrites, and it's really, really heavy. This probably weighs 2 or 3 times what you would expect this rock to weigh. Once again, weight, really good indication for some of the things you should be looking for. So I'm thinking that this one's going to be worth a crack. Now that is a nice looking rock. Again, it's got a little bit of weight to it, but it has got some heavy mineralization. And it's on that buckwhite quartz. So that's a bit better. Now, what we're finding at the moment is a lot of river pebble. What I want to find is a little bit of float as well. This is essentially what float is. It's rock, it's cap rock, it's bedrock that's broken off and moved downstream. We want to find this with some of that host mineralization, and you can see it there. The iron that's in that, very, very rich. You can see pyrites in it. We want to break something like this off and sample that as well. I'm going to do my best for you here. We've got one little dot just there. It is absolutely teensy. Now that particular sample that we took actually had some of the same things that we've got on our specimens, those ironstone bits. It had that really dark, dank quartz and whatnot. Now there's two types of specimens pulling out here, the ironstone versions and the quartz ones. And that was very, very similar rock to what we've been finding on those specimens. However, one dot doesn't mean very much at all. It literally could have been a dot that was stuck on there from a flood or something like that. So that means that we're still back to the drawing board. We're still looking for it. We haven't found it yet, because if that was an actual piece of reef, there'd be a lot more than 1 nano in there. At the end of the day, this is what sampling is about. The chances of me finding this are good if I keep persisting and looking for it, but there's no guarantee you're going to hit it on the first day, first week, first month. It could take you even years to find these things, because they are absolutely tiny sometimes. Which brings me to the last point that I wanted to show you, and that is about how to work out how high grade your ore is at a rough level. This is an amateur level, not a proper assay. I use this rock as my demonstration piece. You can see this fracture, this fault running through the rock here. This is quartz that has been injected up into this rock when it fractured. If this quartz was load bearing and we took a sample of it, we would first weigh the sample of rock, then we would crush it, then we would re-weigh the crushed rock, then we would pan it and weigh how much gold we got out of that sample. And what that does is allows us to extrapolate the data. If I mine 1 ton of hard rock and I crush it and it turns into 900 kilos of hard rock, and then I pan it and I pull out ½ an ounce, then we can work out how many ounces per ton of rock it is. The only thing that complicates it is getting this out. So say for instance that this vein is 4 inches wide and it's got 1 ounce per ton. Well, I can't mine at 4 inches because my body will not fit into that cavity. So I actually have to mine at least a body width, or at least a working width either side of that rock, and that will dilute that vein down. If I have to mine out 5 tons of rock to get access to 1 ton of vein load, that means I'm at 1/5 of an ounce if it's 1 ounce per ton. And that is where it gets complicated. So you want to make sure that you don't dilute your rock too much. You want to do it as small as possible. And that's why when you see old-timer mines that were really big, well, they had a lot of gold in them because it was worth taking out that much rock. When you see the guys that dug the really small holes, especially like the Chinese that would burrow in and just take the reef out, they were taking veins out that were incredibly small. And that's why it could be very difficult finding exactly the right host rock on these gravel bars, because I might be looking for a rock that's only that big, only that wide. So the more sampling you do, the better off you're going to be. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I know this has been a little bit of a different video. It was more educational and it was aimed at just getting you some more information on where your gold actually comes from and the chance that you might be able to go into your local area and find the mother lode. There's a lot more to the geology than I've explained here, and I am no expert on that side of it. There are a lot of other resources. I've left a link to 911 Mining's channel because they are fantastic at their geology. They give a lot of very, very good information. If you have any handy tips or tricks of the trade, please leave them in the comments below, because people like myself and people watching this video could learn a ton if we pull together as a community to become better prospectors. Alright guys, I hope to catch you out in the creek one day. Say hi to your mum for me from me and Grizzly. Peace, and I'm out. So I shut the camera off, I finished filming, I did all my stuff, and it kind of like, it really snowed. It actually snowed, like legitimately. Look at that. Go figure. An Australian in some snow.